What's happening, guys? Welcome into Extra Point. Phil Jones with you here on this Monday afternoon. Welcome into Extra Point. Come on in and join in the conversation. Man, we got a lot to talk about today, guys. So much is happening in the world of high school football. If you are new to the show, really not a whole lot to go over. It's very simple. We make you guys as much a part of the show as me. I want to hear from you guys, your comments. I'll read just about every comment that I can. And so we like to make it all about what you guys are talking about, what you guys want to talk about. And, boy, there's no shortage of things to talk about. Obadiah Farley is checking in. What's up, Obadiah? Thomas County Central's #1 fan. He's certainly got a lot to cheer about. Boy, I tell you, guys, listen, I just don't know. Thomas County Central is elite. As the Roswell head football coach said this morning on the Roswell Coaches Show, that was a very good Houston County team that they beat pretty well. So I don't know. We'll see. Playoffs going to have to play out, but this is a team. I've told the story before, and I'll make this quick, and I'll move on. We did the Thomas County Central Coffee game last year, last regular season game of the year, and we were there. It was our ITG Next game of the week, last regular season game. It was really for the region, and Coffee lost. Thomas County Central won, of course, and it was I think like 31-7 or something like that. It was at Thomas County Central Stadium, but I remember thinking then when I saw Thomas County Central, actually I think we did 2 TCC games last year. We did the Thomasville TCC game and the Thomas County Central Coffee game. So we actually did 2 games last year. But I remember looking at Thomas County Central's players, guys, and just thinking, man, what are they eating? It was unbelievable, the presence of these guys, the build, the muscular build, and unbelievable. And so it's really no surprise to me, what they're doing. Coach Rogers has done a phenomenal job there. I spoke with him this morning briefly and passed along my congratulations to him. And so anyway, just want to get my 2 cents worth in. It'll be interesting to see Thomas County Central in the playoffs. Of course, that win over Houston County Friday night clinched the region for them, so they'll get the #1 seed. But I don't know. Let's talk about that amongst the many things. And that's just one of many scenarios I want to talk about today. So if there is a team out there that can beat Thomas County Central in the Class 5A playoffs, who's it going to be? And looking at the way the brackets are going to pan out, who are they going to be meeting up against, before anybody else? I just got a text from Wheeler's boys basketball coach, Larry Thompson. I know it's not basketball season yet, but we're talking about the elite of football. How about the elite of high school basketball? How about that for a text I got at 5:36 from it's the Justin Rogers of Georgia high school basketball, man. If you don't keep up with Georgia high school basketball, you should. Wheeler is the bomb. I mean, look how many pros they got in the NBA right now. Anyway, Larry Thompson, great guy. Talk to him all the time. Good man, great coach. Anyway, I'll get Coach Thompson. I'll get back with you a little bit after the show, brother. But anyway. So who's the team that Thomas County Central, based on the brackets, the way they're setting up, who are they going to face sooner? Try to get some more light on me here. Who's the team that they're going to? That's too much. Who's the team that Thomas County Central is going to face soonest? That would have the best chance of hanging with them, is how I'll put it. Roswell, Hughes, Milton. We'll see. I mean, there are a lot of good teams out there, but man, it's going to be real interesting. It's going to be a test, whoever goes up against TCC. Let me put it that way. All right. So let me go to the comments here, guys. I mentioned Obadiah Farley. Speaking of TCC, he's their #1 fan. Daniel James is checking in. What's up, Phil and crew, checking in from Stockbridge, home of Collective Soul. Daniel James, did you know that? And do you know who Collective Soul is? Philip Moore, TCC here in the house. Philip, you're another TCC fan, so I'll ask you the question. Anybody you think? And I get it. TCC fans are supremely confident, and you should be. But I'm just kind of curious as to who would provide the most formidable line of competition for this TCC team, which is looking very strong. Evan Reese checking in. Hello, Roswell Hornets in the house. We can control our own destiny on Friday against Milton. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Boy, that is a big one, man. We talked with Roswell's head coach this morning, JT Thompson. Guys, if y'all missed that game, Roswell defeating Gainesville at Gainesville, wow, supersonic win for the Roswell Hornets. 2 years in a row, by the way. They beat Gainesville last year. That game was at Roswell. So they had another big shootout. By the way, I predicted 38-35 Roswell win. They won 37-35. So I was off by a point. Went 5-1 in Phil's pick six this past week. And, of course, the one loss was the one miss was the Houston County prediction. Obviously, TCC took care of business. All right, Philip Moore, great to see you in here. Daniel James, Evan Reese, what's up, guys? Jim Blair says, go Pack Go from Moultrie, Georgia, home of the Colquitt County Packers. Boy, you guys have got a big one this week. Region 1-6A, that region has a three-way jumbled up bunch of teams that are going to get sorted out in a span of about 3 hours on Friday night. You'll go into the 8 o'clock kickoffs wondering who's the top team. Well, we're going to find out about 11 o'clock or so Friday night. Who's going to be standing all alone in Region 1-6A. It could be a tie. There'll be some tiebreakers, which the first tiebreaker is points against amongst the 4 playoff teams from the region, as it's been explained to me. So we'll get more into that as we go forward. Mark Dixon, TCC here. Mark, what's up, brother? Thanks so much for checking out the show. Devin Young, Worth County's checking in. See, this is the way you do it. This is the way you do it. Tell me what team you're rooting for, where you're checking in from. I love it. You guys are on spot right now. A Big Smoke LaFleur. I want to say Rick LaFleur so bad, but I'll hold back. He says, go Cats, go. Jim Blair. Hughes. He says Hughes is the team that would have a chance at TCC. Maybe. I think you may be right. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Got to let it play out. Playoffs, everything gets kind of funky. Evan Reese says, all right, this is what I've been looking for. Roswell and TCC would meet in the semifinals if Roswell wins on Friday. And, of course, that is assuming that both teams win their, first 3 playoff games, first round, second round, quarterfinals, then semifinals, which is like the 4th round. Anyway, I get you, man. So, loss got to happen, but you're probably right. Both those teams are going to be favored all the way through the bracket until they meet, for sure. Daniel James, TCC versus Hughes would be a great championship game. Daniel, it would, wouldn't it? How about TCC and Milton, guys? Yeah, these are. Can TCC and Milton meet up? They can, but where would it be? I got to be honest with you guys. That's one I want to see. That's one I want to see, TCC and Milton, just because of the coaches. I had to make sure for a second I was talking about the right classification. Guys, the coaches, the championships. I think hadn't TCC and Milton won the last 3 years? Is that right? Guys, am I off base here? What? Anyway, somebody help me out there. Milton went from 6A to 5A, 2-3 years back? Anyway, you guys know where I'm going. Help me out there. Andrew Watkins, Darty checks in Friday night senior night at Hugh Mills Stadium versus Bainbridge. Great night. This is what I love about high school football, Look, if your team isn't playing for a region title, or if they're not a state championship contender, you know what? There are a dozen other reasons to support your favorite team, and I love it. Whether it's senior night, just because it's your home team, get out there and support your team, okay? It's that big. Philip Moore says, we want Hughes. Philip, again, TCC fan. Last year's redemption, that's right. Hughes, of course, won that game up there at Langston Hughes. And I know that, let me say this, though, real quick. I know a lot of people, a lot of the fans have been talking about, it was payback for Daniel Boone Williams. Look, I get it a little bit, but that's a different team. I mean, a different team. But I get it. I would think that really the payback should be and would be, and it's going to be possible, maybe, is against Hughes. Okay, they're the team. Yeah, Boone has done his thing at Hughes, won a state championship, has built a great program there. Now he's moved on and is trying to rebuild that Northside Warner Robins program. That was big time in its day. Man, they went through about a 20-year span, guys, where and I'm talking about Northside Warner Robins, they were dominant. I mean, incredibly dominant. But obviously, like, 'tis life goes through cycles. And Northside Warner Robins in a bad one right now. Or I should say a rebuilding. Michael Perry, now that Shane Sams has taken over the Warner Robins offense, the Demons are back. Michael, is that what happened? And I spoke to Shane yesterday, and I gave him my game ball. And in case you're wondering, guys, what happened, Warner Robins beat Ware County Friday night. Great victory. I can't tell you how big it was. Ware County lost to Warner Robins. They were favored by a bunch. But a funny thing happened. And I don't even know, was that game in Warner Robins or where? Was it at McConnell Talbert? I forgot. Anyway, but I called Shane Sams yesterday afternoon. He gave me some top performers. And I told him, congratulations, Coach. Thomas, Warner Robins. Now I get it right. Northside Warner Robins. No, I'm sorry. Warner Robins. I got to leave Warner Robins and this and that. Warner Robins lost to Wayne County, who is one of the, right now they're in a rebuilding phase. Ever since Jabo Shaw left there a couple of years ago, they've been rebuilding. My buddy John Mooring, unfortunately things didn't work out for him there. John Mooring is a great man. He's a great coach. He used to be the coach at Savannah Country Day. Anyway, he goes to Wayne County after Jabo Shaw left. Couldn't get it done, but he has since left the program. Anyway, Wayne County has really suffered, and they beat Warner Robins earlier this year, and that was a shock to a lot of people. And I know Shane caught a lot of flack for that. However, talk about redemption. That was a big-time redemption win for Shane Sams and his Warner Robins Demons, beating Ware County. And again, he gets my game ball if anybody gets it for the week. So congratulations to Shane Sams. And I told him that yesterday. But I did not know, though, that he had taken over the offense, Michael Perry. I appreciate. See, this is why we got the best viewers in the world, man. This stuff right here. Thank you, Michael, for sharing that with me. That makes a lot of sense, too. And I did not know that. Jim Blair says Milton going to get Roswell. Well, you don't know about that, Jim. Maybe. Yes, like I talked to Roswell's head coach this morning, JT Thompson, in the Roswell Coaches Show. I encourage you guys to go online, to go to ITG Next and watch it. Coach Thompson did a great job of breaking down the win over Gainesville. He basically gave the entire play-by-play, albeit in condensed form this morning, over about 7-8 minutes. From start to finish, and I'm going to tell you, you'll be exhausted by the time you get there hearing from Coach Thompson how he described how that game won. Roswell holds Gainesville on a last minute. Well, I say last minute. 4 or 5 minutes left in the game. Gainesville's knocking at the door. 4th and goal to go from, I think, the 1.5 yard line. They send the field goal unit out. Okay. However, there is a Roswell player that's injured, so you have an injury timeout. Okay, during the injury timeout, Roswell coaches notice across the way that Josh Niblett is taking the field goal team off the field, and he's putting the offense back on the field. So 4th and goal to go, they're going to go for it. Gainesville is. What happens? Boom, Roswell stuffs Gainesville at the line. Roswell takes over at their own 1 yard line, and they proceed to march 99 yards. Eating up clock, eating up yardage, and retaking the lead. And so they were able to get it done. Gainesville scores that put them up, I think, by 2 scores. Gainesville scores a late touchdown cuts the lead to 37-35. They try an onside kick, does Gainesville. And who recovers it? None other than the team's quarterback, Roswell's quarterback, Trey Smith. Now, there's a guy that's literally everywhere on the field. Hey, what do you got to have your good hands team in there on the onside kick? Well, Trey Smith, being the best athlete on the field, probably, at least on Roswell's side, he recovers the onside kick. Anyway, it was an exciting game. I encourage you guys to watch our Roswell Coaches Show with J.T. Thompson, where he describes the whole scenario and everything that played out in that game. What a game it was. Again, big win for Roswell. Now, so as Jim Blair is saying, as intimating, it's going to be too much too soon, Jim. Is that what you're saying for the Roswell Hornets? Well, we'll have to wait and see. I will admit, and I did ask Coach Thompson this morning, you're going to have to now get up once again, 2 weeks in a row for another big team, a big-time program. You go from Gainesville to Milton, and that's tough. We will see. I really like what J.T. Thompson is doing at Roswell, though. He's got those young men believing. And when you have players believing in your coach, just like Thomas County Central believes in Coach Rogers, Coach, you can see it with certain teams and coaches. I think Lee County is that way with Fabrizio. So anyway, I think that's what's happened at Tift County. I talked to some players' moms, some players' parents, and they say, look, those players, those young men at Tift, they buy in, they believe in Jeff Littleton. So anyway, just a couple of different examples of what's happening. Stephen Tate. Let me go. I don't want to skip Darius Kirksey. Speaking of Hughes fan, Darius Kirksey says TCC Roswell in the semis if Roswell wins out. However, I'm not sure who comes out if Milton wins. That region will be a three-way tie. Gotcha. Now, Darius, I was saying earlier too, or asking rather. I think if there's a three-way tie amongst three teams in the region, any region. I think the tiebreaker is points against, involving the four playoff teams against one another. Is that how it goes? That's the way it was explained to me last night. And I got to tell you, I don't stop to look at rule books and stuff. I just rely on what people tell me, people that I trust. So, and Darius, I know you know your stuff, man. So let me know if that is the case. Stephen Tate checking in. What's up, Stephen Tate? Big coffee fan. By the way, TCC going to take on Coffee Friday night. Hey, look, Mike O knows how to get teams up for a big game. I just don't know if Coffee's got enough experience. They're very youthful this year, but we'll wait and see. Look, Coffee held Hoco pretty tight there for about a half, so we'll see what happens. Jody Hewitt is in the house. Jody, what's up, my man? Jody says Vikings going to stomp a mud hole in the maze and them cats. Whoa, Jody Hewitt is the first one to sound the alarm. He's the first one to throw out the first salvo on this first day of the week of Wintersville. You got to love it. Jody, congratulations. You've got the first one, the first zinger to go out between the two teams. All right, so let's see some Valdosta fans come back and give them one of your own. Boy, it's going to be a great game at the Bays. Let me tell you, J.E. Woods, good afternoon, Phil, from Hodgson, Georgia. Okay. J.E., now let me guess. Hodgson is the home of Mill Creek. Is that right? Do I have that right? Just guessing. Let me know if I got it right or not. Okay, let's see here. Let me see who else we got checking out the show. Devin Young, Ward County checking in. Mark Dixon, hope I didn't, am I repeating myself here? Sorry if I am. So we're getting some of these comments are repeating here. Kelly Mitchell, good evening, Phil. Brooks down but not out. Hey, listen, I believe you, man. Look, Brooks County has got to be the only team who is, 3-5? And all of us still, and I say all of us, those of us that are part of the Georgia composite rankings, ITG Next, the AJC, Georgia High School Football Daily, Score Atlanta, 680 The Fan Atlanta, Maxwell Ratings, and one other. Anyway, there's I think 6 of us who submit our brackets. By the way, guys, Now, and I know some of you TCC fans, you get mad at me sometimes. Did you guys know? I think I'm only one that's got TCC ranked number 1 in the composite poll in 5A. I may be wrong, but you can look at it. You can see how we all vote. You can see the AJC, then ITG, then Score Atlanta. Anyway, we're all right there. And look, I have voted TCC the top team in Class 5A this year. So if you guys weren't paying attention, you need to know that. So yeah, anyway, I was going to tell you about in the composite rankings, we all still like Brooks County. And what does that say about Brooks County? We believe, even with the record not being where it should be, or where some of the other top 10 teams are, Kelly, we're right there with you. I think to a man, everybody believes that does that poll, that puts together their respective poll, like I put together the ITG Next poll. We believe that Brooks County is a top 10 team. And, they had this kind of season last year. And what happens? They wound up winning the state championship. So I think they're going to be right there in the end, Kelly. So we haven't lost faith. I can tell you that. Stephen K. Wynn is checking in from Trojan Nation in Leesburg. What's up, Stephen? I mentioned Evan Reese. TCC and Milton will be on the opposite side of the bracket, assuming Roswell beats Milton on Friday. Boy, that's going to be a great game, isn't it? Gabe Garrett, evening, Phil. Toombs County checking in. Region 3 championship for AD1 Friday night with Savannah Christian. Woo, man, let me add that one to the list of all of these barn burner games that are Friday night. Are you kidding me? Guys, Halloween night. So many matchups. I understand the focus is on Wintersville. I get it, as it should be. But do you guys realize how many other big games? Valdosta, Lowndes, Wintersville, Hughes, and Lovejoy going to battle for their region championship. Nobody's paying any attention to Lovejoy, little old Lovejoy. They don't have a chance. Well, you know what? That's why they play the game, and we'll see. But anyway, right now, those two teams are tied atop their region. Darius Kirksey, what region is that exactly? It's something 5A. Anyway, they are going to, 5A. They're going to play for the region championship. That's Hughes and Lovejoy on Friday night. What about Cairo? Hello. I understand that Halloween's Friday night, but it's like we've got a full moon all week or something. Guys, Cairo, David Coleman. That's another coach I made a call to yesterday and congratulated him. Big time win. The Cairo syrup maker. See, there's a lot of this talk that these South Georgia teams, they're not going to do anything. And mostly it's confined to the 6A classification. Well, of course, you throw that out in 5A because Thomas County Central is about as south as you can get. And, obviously they are probably the prohibitive favorite other than Hughes. And you guys know what I'm saying. They're the favorite from at least South Georgia, put it that way. And they're a strong favorite. Anyway, but, like in 3A, is it that Cairo and Peach? Peach has been ranked on number 1. They've been ranked atop the standings in 3A all year long. And lo and behold, Cairo, you can see it. They've been playing a little better and a little better. Now, Cairo got throttled by TCC, and I think that kind of that kind of confused some people who thought, well, they're no good. Look, TCC has made a lot of teams look bad, okay? So I wouldn't put a lot of stock, not taking anything away from TCC, that's not my point, but I just think that, Cairo is in pretty good company for teams that have taken a beating from TCC. That's my point. So, having said that, Cairo is a 3A team, TCC, of course, 5A. So, in their own classification, which they showed Friday night, Cairo took care of business against a very good Maurice Westbrook coached Peach County team. Remember, Maurice Westbrook was the guy that built the dynasty at Warner Robins. Okay, he's the guy. Maurice Westbrook did a heck of a job there. Left Warner Robins. What was that? 3 years ago. Took him a year of transition, but here he is getting Warner Robins. Getting Peach County. Back on the map and back competing for state championships where they should be and where they were when Chad Campbell was there. So now you've got Marty's Westbrook, Peach County. They've been on top of that mountain forever. Well, Cairo knocked them down a little bit. Big win for the syrup makers. There is your number one mascot in the state, other than the Atom Smashers. Does anybody know where the Atom Smashers are? I do. Just testing y'all. Anyway, so going to be a heck of a game, or was a heck of a game. I'm sorry, Cairo beating Peach. And now you've got Cairo, I believe, has got a winner-take-all kind of game coming up this weekend, do they not? Somebody help me out with that. I don't have the schedule in front of me. Anyway, big game there. So, yeah, Gabe Garrick, Toombs County. I've been saying this is going to be the year of the repeat. Obviously, that would require Toombs County to make a run. Is Toombs County going to be able to do it? Or is Toombs County going to be able to be the one of the teams to repeat as state champions this year? Want to know your thoughts on that. My buddy Kerry Claiborne, who is literally the voice of like a dozen teams up in the Atlanta area, is checking in. Kerry, what's up, my man? Kerry Claiborne is the PA announcer for the Buford Wolves. But he does some stuff for some other teams, Georgia Tech and some other teams included. Evan Reese is back. Evan Reese says Milton won state in 2024 5A, in 2023 7A. TCC won state 2023 6A. Thank you for that clarification. I knew they were all kind of mixed in there together, but yeah. So anyway, so Milton and TCC representing a total of 3 state championships in 23 and 24. So thank you for that, Evan. Greg Maddox is checking in. Greg, what's up, buddy? Lowndes Vikings will beat Valdosta and be the region champs. I hear you, Greg. Spoken like a true Viking fan. By the way, Greg, tell Tom that I'll get that Viking helmet for him. No problem. Jim Blair with a rematch with North Gwinnett in the second round if we are second. That's talking about Colquitt County. Wow, wouldn't that be something? Huh? Pardon me, guys. Man, that's good. Okay. So you're saying, Jim, that Colquitt County gets a rematch with North Gwinnett in the second round if you guys are second. So to give you a little bit of history there, Colquitt County, they defeat Benedictine. Opening game of the year. It was huge because we see how good Benedictine has turned out to be. They won their region Friday night with a win over Perry. So Benedictine came to Colquitt County to open the season at the Hog Pen. It was Colquitt County that prevailed in that game. Huge win. Well, the next week, Colquitt County goes up to North Gwinnett, up into Suwanee, where they lose 21-7 to the North Gwinnett Bulldogs. And so North Gwinnett is looking every bit like a contender in Class 6A. So now what Jim Blair is saying, that North Gwinnett, by the way, North Gwinnett's only loss, while Colquitt County was winning their season opener against Benedictine, North Gwinnett was losing their season opener to Douglas County. Okay, so North Gwinnett has not lost since then. In fact, that win against Colquitt County started a win streak, I think, of 8 straight. And so they're going to try to make it 9 straight. This weekend is North Gwinnett. I think they clinched the region, if I'm not mistaken. North Gwinnett has clinched the region. By the way, McEachern also clinched their region. Big wins there. But anyway, if North Gwinnett and Colquitt County get back together, guys, can y'all imagine what a brawl that's going to be? That's 2 Class 6A heavyweights there, playing for the second time this year. A South Georgia and a North Georgia school. How rare is that, by the way? Think about that. You know, you got 2 teams separated by, 250 miles or thereabouts. And they have the chance. What are the odds of them meeting twice in a year? See, I love that kind of stuff right there, guys. I love it when we've got South Georgia teams that step out of their comfort zone, and make these trips up to the Atlanta area to take on these teams. I'd love to see more of this. hopefully with the new format that we've got for the larger classifications going to kick in next year, where you get rewarded really for scheduling these tougher teams, these tougher opponents. And I'm not talking about going out of state either. I'm talking about, a Colquitt, North Gwinnett kind of game. I'm talking about a Lowndes Kale is good. Now, I know Lowndes beat the tar out of Kale this year, but Kale is another good team. So anyway, you'll get my drift. I want to see more of those games like North Gwinnett, Colquitt. But anyway, pretty interesting situation there, Jim, that you bring up. Andrew Watkins, Westover's on the road to Cairo for the region championship game. How about that? There we go, brother. Can Westover hang with Cairo? Wouldn't it be a shame after Cairo? And I'm not saying they will, but these are what you call trap games. Cairo wins over Peach County, knocks off the number one team in the state, and then lay an egg. I'm not saying this will happen. I'm just saying we've seen that happen a lot. Y'all have seen it. I know that David Coleman, the head coach at Cairo, has seen it, so I'm not telling him anything he doesn't know. But anyway, I just love it that we're going to have that big game. So many big games. Halloween night. You cannot make this up. The only thing you could add to that is if there's going to be a full moon out. Wouldn't that be something? And I don't know what the forecast is for Friday night. What do they forecast? There's people that forecast the moon, whether it's waxing or waning or crescent moon or I don't know, moon your neighbor. Anyway, we'll see what happens. Let's see. Jane Harbin Cuppet says the statement I liked this morning from the HOCO coach was, "You have winners and learners." Good luck, HOCO, this Friday night. He did say that, didn't he, Jane? And I remember thinking the same thing. How cool that was. Which Jeremy Edwards is a cool dude. Yeah, good-looking guy. And he just kind of goes with the flow. He marches to the beat of his own drummer. That's why I like the guy. But he did say that this morning. Jane, I'm so glad you brought that up. Again, in case you missed it this morning, in the HOCO Coaches Show that I do with Coach every Monday morning, Jeremy Edwards, head coach of Houston County, said, you have winners and you have learners. You have winners and learners. Great line. That's the line of the year. Jane, I'm so glad that you brought that up and that you quoted him on that, because I remember thinking, man, I got to say that. And so I'm glad that you did. I'm glad you brought it up here on the show. Okay, Alan, the game between Ware County and Warner Robins was at Warner Robins. Got you, buddy. And again, Shane Sams gets my game ball. Stephen K. Wynn also confirming the game was at Warner Robins. Thank you, gentlemen. Jim Blair says that puts Ware on the road, and they could be a tough one to somewhere. Oh, yeah, Ware County's got a good football team, no doubt. By the way, so where are they in that region? Ware County. How's that sorting out, guys? So Benedictine wins the region. You got Benedictine, Perry, Ware. I haven't looked at it, to be honest with you, other than Benedictine got to be the champ. But how's that going to sort out in terms of the top? Who's the four teams going to the playoffs? That's my question out of that region. If someone can help me out with that. Jim Blair says it sets up a three-way tie. Got you. Tobias Grissom. We did knock off Burke County this year. Now, Tobias, who are you a fan of, brother? Help me clarify that for me, brother. Kerry Claiborne says Buford Mill Creek on Halloween night in the Beard. Surely that's not what they're calling the stadium now. Come on. With all apologies to Philip Beard, the grandfather, the granddaddy himself of Buford everything. I'm just having some fun here. But surely they're not naming it after Philip Beard. Again, all apologies. Welcome to the Beard. I don't know, Kerry. Just doesn't roll off the tongue. But you know what? The man was, and he is very important to that community, that program, that school, everything. All the Buford success can be largely credited to Philip Beard, and Kerry knows what I'm talking about. Guy was a mover and shaker before his time. Excuse me, guys. Start talking, man, and it just when you talk nonstop like this, man, it gets to you, especially here at the end of the day. Michael Perry says, "You bet, go Demons." Yeah, man, I think they are. They could be. Look, wins like this, like the one that Ware County had, and I've talked about this before. There are certain games that when you win, it kickstarts a whole new mindset with the team. Bainbridge went through that in 2018. And I'm trying to remember who it was they beat. Well, I can tell you this. Bainbridge beats Buford, I think, in that first round playoff game that year. Is that right? And then they went on to win the state championship. One of the most improbable state championship runs from a Bainbridge team that had finished 5-5 that year. 5-5, and they go on to finish 5-0 in the playoffs. So 10-5, including a state championship victory. But there was that one victory over a big team, and I know they beat Buford in the playoffs, and that might have been it. But it's those games, those signature games that you win that really propels you. You know, that acts as a springboard for the rest of the year, the rest of the playoffs. And I think that game with Warner Robins defeating Ware is going to be one of those kind of games. My prediction. D. Mitch, I'm saying though, what's that blank you were saying about TCC? We beat Hoko. Okay, so I was wondering when the first troublemaker would get in here. I don't need that drama, brother. Carry on. Greg Maddox, Phil, who you picking between Lowndes and Valdosta this week? I need my coin. I need to flip a coin, man. No, I've already done my pick six, and but I'll have to. You guys will have to go to our website and find out. And by the way, D. Mitch, I pick people all the time. Okay, I pick winners and losers all year long. I never have a fan base that comes back and starts talking trash because I picked their team to lose. Just saying. Joshua Chase Garnto. How about the mighty Vikings? I tell you what, man, they are looking strong, aren't they? I know. Listen, and I've said this before, and Greg, I want you and Josh, my buddy Larry Godwin, LG, and I'm just asking. So what's up? By the way, Odias is TG. I'll get to you in a second, brother. Great to see you here in the house, my man. So what is the difference between this year's Lowndes team? And I know we've talked about this before. But it looks like Lowndes will have a pretty good shot, you know, if they win the region of facing Buford. And by the way, I think it's pretty much confirmed that Buford and Richmond Hill will match up in round one of the state playoffs, because Richmond Hill is going to get the 4th seed. Buford, if they beat Mill Creek Friday night, they'll get the number 1 seed in. They'll get the number 1 seed from their region, I think, which is 8-6A. So it looks like Richmond Hill going to be making that long road trip up to Buford. So that's why we've been talking about this all year, that seeding in Region 1-6A was so important, right? How about them mighty Larry Pope? Repeat that again, Phil. Caleb Arnold needs to know that. Stephen K. Wynn, Milton is at Roswell. Will home field be the difference? That's a great question. And again, Stephen, I was just talking about like certain wins that will act as a springboard or propel you to bigger things. What happened with Roswell and Gainesville, I encourage you guys to go back and watch the Roswell coaches show I had this morning with Coach Thompson. You can just sense the passion in his voice and his demeanor. You guys can look at it yourself and tell me what you think. I mean, you could see the spark in his voice, or hear it in his voice, and see it in his eye, in his facial expression. I mean, it just, he talked about the confidence of the team and how confident they were, and I don't know, man. There's something about. Now, I could be wrong. Could be totally wrong. But my point being, wins like what happened to Roswell over at Gainesville at their place. That's a tough place to go in and win. So we're going to see if that energy, or as it is synergy, as it is with the entire team, if that entire synergy can carry over to Roswell and Milton, as Milton comes to Roswell. Good point, Stephen K. Wynn, though. We're going to see exactly what happens. Wayne Gladden says, go Canes. Joshua Jace Carnto, Vikings by 21 points over that school that used to be on Forest Street. Wow. Man, go ahead and say it. I mean, everybody knows who you're talking about. Man, I don't know about that, brother. You think a 21-point win? Ouch. Woo. Let's see here. Mark Dixon says got Valdosta at home. Yeah, it's going to be at Valdosta. It's going to be a heck of a ball game. I really don't. I probably give Lowndes the advantage right now. I'd probably say Lowndes is my pick. In fact, I've already picked it. I'm trying to remember if I did. I think I did pick Lowndes. Tobias Grissom, what's up, brother? Checking in from Thompson, Georgia. What is it? The Brickyard. Is that right? The stadium up there. Andrew Watkins Monroe, also on the road to Peach County. All I can say is that 900s season is basically over. All right, so this is a pretty interesting thing. So you notice that Andrew said the 900s. How many of you know what that means? It's been explained to me, and Andrew, don't say anything. How many of y'all know what he's talking about? And I'll take it a step further. I'll give you a couple of clues. So the teams in Albany have numbers to identify them. I think Daugherty is the 1800s. Monroe is the 900s. One of the other teams is the 1200s. I've already said that. Anyway, they've all got these big numbers. I'm just wondering, because I didn't know, and I asked the question, it was explained to me. What do you guys think that is? It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool how they call it. But that's how they call each other. That's how they identify each other. Instead of saying the school name, they say it's the 900s. I just think that's cool, man. Again, this is the fun of high school football. Greg Tanner, after seeing both teams back-to-back weeks, both good teams, but I say Valdosta's better. Wow, Greg Tanner. And Greg Tanner is, by the way, a Richmond Hill guy. Greg, really? There you go. Well, there goes a guy who is saying Greg would know. I promise you, Greg knows his football. He knows his stuff. Big Richmond Hill supporter, and he says after seeing both teams back-to-back weeks, both teams good, but I say Valdosta's better. How about that? Darius Kirksey, yep, you're the only one. I don't know what that means. Kerry Claiborne, born to compete, definitely has TCC, number 1 in 5A. Yeah, and I was talking about the composite rankings amongst the big boys that do the statewide composite rankings, Kerry. That's what I was talking about. Again, that's ITG, the AJC, 680 The Fan, Score Atlanta. I believe it's some Maxwell Ratings, Lauren Maxwell's company. And there's one more. I think it's Recruit Georgia. Anyway, that's what I was talking about. That's what I was referring to. Our polls that I just mentioned, our polls come together to give you the composite rankings. That's the one that normally, like the AJC, refers to. So, anyway, Ponder Redknapp. Ponder, where have you been, man? I have missed seeing you. Ponder Redknapp. Go Pack, go. I love it. I forgot. I have missed that. Ponder refers to me as the Paul Philbaum. Is that his name? Paul? No, what's this guy's name? Paul. What's the guy's name, guys? Anyway, that's who Ponder says I am. Paul. What is his name, guys? What's the last name? Ponder says Philbaum, but that's not it. Greg Maddox. TCC may be the best team in any classification this year. I don't see anyone beating them. I would second that. And I've said that all year. I wonder if I would say this. TCC, I think, is a team that could beat anybody. Now, I would love to see TCC and Buford go at it. Oh, boy. Guys, when we're talking about dream matchups, I mean, really, think about that one. I would pay good money. Guys, you get a chance to see Buford and TCC go at it. Tickets are $25 a piece. Would you pay it? Just asking. Chris Pace, you are right. I do correct myself. Chris Pace has corrected me. I was talking about that Warner Robins dynasty. Excuse me. And I had mentioned that Maurice Westbrook had built that. But as Chris Pace has corrected me and reminded me, by the way, Chris Pace of South and Middle Georgia Facebook page, they do a great job. One of the best of anybody on Facebook. South and Middle Georgia high school football page. But Chris Pace reminds me that it was Mike Chastain who built it and Westbrook finished it. I stand corrected, Chris Pace. Thank you for that, sir. You are correct. 100%. Darius Kirksey, Region 358. Oh, I got you. I was talking about I'm the only one that's I'm the only one that's saying that's going to be a big matchup. Lovejoy and Hughes. Well, come on, man. We got to find some suspense somewhere. I got you. Yeah, Hughes is going to roll for sure. I have no doubt about that. But anyway, it is fun looking at all these matchups that are going to be coming up on Halloween night. Halloween night. If there was anything else that could make it any more fun, right? It's going to be so much fun this weekend. This is what, this is the kind of fandom that we live for, right? You work all week, and then you get a chance to watch your favorite football team on Friday night. And you know what? It's good anyway. Doesn't matter if you're, what your records are or whatever. But man, when your team's got something to play for, you think about it all day Friday when you're at work, or if you happen to be off work, or you go get some lunch, and you go wash your car, go pick up the kids from school, and then you start getting ready and primed for nothing like it. And again, when you've got something to pull for, to root for, to try to achieve, other than just to win. Hey, listen, for some, your team winning the game is good enough, and that's cool. But if you got something to play for, like a potential regional championship, potential number one seed, and your team's got a chance to go a good ways into the playoffs, that's even better for sure. Mayretta is in the house. What's up, brother? I miss our messages together, brother. So Mayretta, how you feel? Marietta Blue Devils play for a region championship this Friday at Northcutt Stadium and on GPB at 7:30. How about that? Did not know that. All right, we got Daryl Kramer. Appling County is in the house. What's up, man? Boy, don't you guys have a big game? Oh, boy. And how about what Appling did to Cook this past week? Now, Daryl, got to ask you, was there a little bit of history there just between Tucker Pruitt and Cook? I'm just asking. Because in case you guys don't know what we're talking about, Appling County would start off the year 1-3. They were really struggling out of the gate with Tucker Pruitt, the new head coach. Well, buddy, they have not lost since. Started off 1-3. I think they're 6-3 going into this final matchup at Pierce County. And oh boy, what a game you're going to have there, as well as Crisp is going to be playing Cook. And I don't think Cook is in the running for the region, but Crisp is. So here's yet another region where you've got three teams that are in the mix. That's Appling County, Pierce County, and Crisp County. And by golly, look at what Justin Newman has done at Crisp. I think they're 3-6. It's been a struggle. But again, this is where winning your region games means everything. They're 3-6, but you know what? They're 2-1, I believe it is, in the region. And they've got a chance. Some quirky things have got to happen. But Crisp has got a chance to win that region. Can you believe that? That's the beauty of high school football. So, again, a lot going to be happening in that region. I can't remember the number that region is. It's I'll be so glad, by the way, next year when we get rid of the split in 1A, because it's hard. It's hard to say. Like, Region 1-6A rolls off the tongue. Region 2-5A rolls off the tongue. Region 1A Division 1-4 class. I mean, that don't roll off the tongue, guys. You actually have to say the classification first. Anyway, I'll be glad when next year they get rid of all that. There'll be one standard Class A, and then you have a 2A and 3. Anyway, so I'll be glad to see it. By the way, return of 7A next year too. Michael Lotta. Michael, where have you been, man? I hadn't seen you in a while. Michael is back in the house. Hey, Phil, how's it going this evening? Doing well. Mark Dixon, Cairo versus Westover. Yep, talked about that a little bit earlier. How about them Cairo syrup makers, man? What a win that was. Cairo defeating Peach County. Wow. Football has been so great this year, guys. Has 2025 not been the best year? I mean, really. Guys, seriously. Has this not been the best season of high school football we've had in a long time? Let me rephrase that. Last year was pretty good too. But it just seems like we keep topping ourselves in the football season here in Georgia. Listen, you can make an argument that Georgia high school football, the quality is better than the other states or not. Okay, that's up for debate. I get it. But guys, you're going to have to convince me though that there's a state with more overall excitement. I mean, look at all these different scenarios we've been talking about. Some we hadn't even got to yet that are going to be playing for region title. Region title is coming down to a 3-way tie. I mean, it's over and over and over. And guys, so many of these regions are coming down to the last game of the year. Yeah, I'm just saying, I may be wrong. And honestly, I haven't even looked at in detail and that closely at like Texas or California or Florida for that matter. But I'm going to bet that there's no other state that carries the same level of excitement with its high school football, the playoffs, even before you get to the playoffs, the last week of the season type shenanigans that we're coming into in Georgia. If somebody wants to put up an argument, I mean, I'm all ears, but you're going to have to convince me because I don't think so. I think this is the most exciting state for overall high school football, because we've been talking about this. All these classifications are going through this. Okay, how about that? Chris Pace, hey Phil, that ain't Pepsi, man. No, man, no more Pepsi anymore. Man, that sure is good. Yeah, it's about you change, We do want to thank though Dr. Kevin Collins, the Houston Clinic. You see his little icon down there. Big thanks to Dr. Kevin Collins, the Houston Clinic, our sponsor of our show every Monday. Dr. Kevin Collins is the team doctor for the Colquitt County Packers as well as Valdosta State University. By the way, not to get too far off of high school football, I don't like to stray away, but my goodness, VSU hosted the Citadel Saturday afternoon and took it on the chin. That's a big school though. Is Citadel Division I, by the way? I think they are. Anyway, let's get back to it. Jim Blair says Packer Hawks #1 mascot, only one of its kind. I'll give you that. Alan Clanton, y'all been confusing me on this 3-way tie thing for Region 1-6A for weeks now. Valdosta beats Lowndes. Well, I'll be honest with you, and I'll be the first one to admit this is not my strength. I have to rely. I mean, if it wasn't for Darius Kirksey, who has really been a mentor of mine on these brackets, he's Mr. Bracketology, by the way. So has my buddy Kerry Claiborne, Buford, Mr. Buford. By the way, where is Big Buford at? Where is Luke Nelson? I'm putting the call out
for Luke Nelson, Big Buford. Where you at, Luke? Luke's son, by the way, Kanan Nelson, big-time linebacker for the Wolves. Michael Lotta says, I like that Coke, Mr. Phil Jones. Well, thank you, Michael. I do, too. It's delicious, by the way. Gabe Garrett, I believe it's going to be Toombs and Worth in the championship. What a game it will be. Man, are you kidding me? Wow. Unbelievable. Heather Knight Rodriguez. Hey, everyone. TCC checking in. What's up, Heather? I know Friday night was a fun night, and I think it's going to be a fun season. The rest of the season and the postseason, I think it's going to be fun for TCC for sure. Michael Lotta. Go Big Red Country, baby. I hear you, buddy. I hear you. Now, Michael, you're talking about Gainesville, right? James Raymer is checking in. Looking at TCC's playoff bracket. First round will be against Woodstock. Now, this is interesting. I like this. So, here's what TCC's playoff scenario likely looks like, according to James Raymer. First round is going to be against Woodstock, win. Second round will probably be Hughes, Lovejoy, loser. Well, no, it can't be that. There ain't double elimination, dog. Are you talking about softball? Yeah, it's no double elimination, man. It couldn't be the loser. The loser don't move on. The loser's gone. Okay. I don't know if you meant to say Hughes, Lovejoy, winner. Man, that would be, if it is Hughes, that'd be something else. But I thought they would play later on, according to what Darius Kirsty told me. Anyway, Luke, lo and behold, I ask and ye shall receive. It's like God just delivered Big Buford. I asked for him, and lo and behold, he just pops up on my feed there. What's up, brother? Luke, what's happening, man? Good to see you again, man. We missed you here on the show. Luke Nelson, a.k.a. Big Buford. Luke, what's going on, buddy? Talk a little high school football in here, man, and I know you guys got to be excited about your Buford Wolves, man. They're looking good. Look, we've been talking a lot about some of the potential matchups in 5A. Let's shift it to 6A and let's talk. Listen, Luke, I want you to get in here and let's talk about. So in 6A, in 5A we've been talking about. TCC seems to have the upper hand, but they're going to have to go through certain teams to really get to the top of the mountain. But to me, they look like the strongest. Now, let's take a look at 6A. I've been saying this, and you can ask Kerry Claiborne, and I mentioned this. Look, I think Buford, man, them or Grayson, flip a coin. In our poll, I've got Grayson 1, Buford 2, and I'm going to be real honest with you. The only reason I've done that is because I think Grayson has played a little bit more tougher schedule. But truth is, head to head, I think they're pretty darn even. But, I think it's Buford or Grayson's bracket to lose. Now, Luke, again, your son plays for Buford. Kanan Nelson, he's a linebacker, is a big part of that Wolves defense. Just kind of curious who you think, who Buford kind of considers the team, to not worry about, but you know what I mean. Who's the team that, they're kind of looking at, if you want to talk about that a little bit with me. But great to see you, Big Buford, a.k.a. Luke Nelson. By the way, Luke, one of our tailgate winners, got that Sunset Farm Sausage Care Pack. Greg Maddox and his crew also was also a winner. Stephen Tate and his crew. Listen, guys, if you're tailgating or you know somebody, send me the tailgate pictures. Send me the names of who it is. We'll look at them. And if we think they are worthy, send some good tailgate pictures, smoker cooking up the chicken or the burgers or whatever. Send it to me, and we will quite possibly anoint you as our weekly ITG Next Super or Sunset Farm Sausage winner, tailgate winner. And our friends at Sunset Farm Sausage will send you out a care package of their delicious sausage. And Luke Nelson got a pack, and he can vouch for it. All right. Let's see here. Brad Ruiz. I'd love to see some North Georgia teams travel south. You know what? People have been saying that the last couple of weeks, and I think you're right, Brad. 100%. We need to see that. Jody Hewitt. What's up, Jody? Jody's giving us the tiebreaker. Tiebreaker is head-to-head record. Second is points allowed to region-eligible playoff teams. Okay. Yeah, I skipped the big. I don't know why I did that. Yes. Head-to-head. Now, Jody, is that three-way tie as well? Or is that just two teams that tie? And again, I thought it was tiebreaker first and foremost. Somebody told me last night that if in case of a three-way tie, the tiebreaker, the first goes to the points allowed to the other teams in the region that make the playoffs. But anyway, Walt Taylor, clarify that for me, Jody. Walt Taylor, Phil Jones, Troup County, and Sandy Creek for region championship. There's another one. How did I miss that? Walt, thank you so much. Troup County. There's a handful of teams that I mentioned back in the preseason. Okay, and you guys can go back and check it. This isn't one of them things, that I'm making up now. You guys can go. I wrote the story about it. There were teams: McEachern, Troup County, Kell. Who else was it? I know it was those three. Cambridge. I think Cook was one. Anyway, but Troup, Holy Innocents was the other one. Those were teams I said to look out for. And here's Troup County. They beat LaGrange. Was that 2 weeks ago? And now here they are. Thank you to Walt Taylor for reminding me. Gosh, I cannot believe I've left them out. Troup County. What a job Tanner Glisson is doing. I think Tanner Glisson is the coach of both the baseball and the football team. But boy, Troup County and Sandy Creek. Wow. Troup County's got a chance to really make history here in this one. Big time game, for sure. Jim Blair, Benedictine, Warner Robins, Ware, Perry. Okay, that's the region, for sure. Michael Lotta, are you okay? Yeah, it's just, man, I talk nonstop, buddy. I don't break for commercials, so it just kind of gets a little caught up in my throat there, buddy. But yeah, I'm okay. Jose Padilla, what is up, my friend? Hey, Mr. Phil, how about the TCC Yellow Jackets? How is everyone, Jose? Man, they're rocking and rolling. By the way, I talked to Coach Rogers this morning, or actually early afternoon. Got a special surprise coming up for fans of the Yellow Jackets. Not going to say anything now, but you'll find out in due time. Yellow Jackets fans are going to like it. Kerry Claiborne is definitely named Philip Beard Stadium. Some in the area just call it the Beard for sure. I get it. Yeah, and I figured that was the case. Yeah. But I don't know. Some things just kind of roll off the tongue, Kerry. But I got the connotation you were talking about there for sure. Dias TG. Okay, what's up, brother? What's up, OG? Milton and Roswell this Friday is going to be a movie. What will be our prize? Getting moved to the TCC out of the bracket. I love it. That's the line of the day right there. Dias TG. Roswell, Milton at Roswell Friday going to be a movie, and what will be our prize? Getting moved to the TCC side of the bracket. Nothing like GHSA. I know that's what you meant to say. Football playoffs. You're right, dude. Remember, though, next year, everything changes. That's going to be fun. Jim Blair, look at Brooks. They'll be 5-5 with the win Friday. Yeah, that's what I've been saying, Jim. All of us that do this composite poll have kept Brooks in the top 10. What we all can see, Brooks is one of those rare exceptions that even though they've been 2 games under 500, 4-5 or whatever, every one of us I think has still got Brooks in the top 10. So you got to love it. Okay. Jim Blair says, look, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Remember Brooks last year? That's why we have done that. ITG Next, AJC, 680 The Fan, Score Atlanta. Again, we all like Brooks. That's So that's why they remained in the top 10. And you're right. We go back to last year when it looked like all was lost. They've got that knack. Jeff Littleton's Bainbridge teams used to do this, if you guys remember. They would fall behind 1-3, 2-4, and then boom. It was just kind of rope-a-dope, if you will. Greg Maddox, come see us Friday and we'll feed you. I plan to be down there, my friend. Thank you for the invitation. Darius Kirksey, I'm talking Roswell and home for the region. Michael Lotta, what's up, Mr. Phil Jones? How are you doing this evening? I'm doing good. Greg Maddox, if Rich, I've already named this one. I've already mentioned this one. Greg. No, I'm sorry. One of our other Richmond Hill fans talked about this earlier. Greg Tanner. Getting my Gregs mixed up. Yeah, if Richmond Hill beats Colquitt Friday, Colquitt may have to play Buford University. Walt says, Phil, who you got between Troop and Sandy Creek? Oh, man. Whew. It's hard for me to pick against Troop, man. That's been my team all year. I'm going to take a pass on that right now. I'm going to chicken out. I don't know, man. They're both playing so well. I'm going to take Troop. I'm just going to take Troop for the sake of making a prediction. I'm going to say Troop's got it. Troop will win. It's just been that kind of year, that magical kind of year. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Troop. Stephen K. Wynn wants to know what's my Lee Hoko prediction. I think Hoko bounces back. Apologies to Dean Fabrizio. He'll never forgive me for that, by the way. Excuse me. Andrew Watkins. Lady 1800 will be in action versus Sumter County flag football. Hey, Andrew, we got to tell people what that means at some point. People are going to, I explained it a while ago. I kind of gave the overview of all of y'all have got these numbers you identify by. The Albany schools, Daugherty, Monroe. Well, there's no Albany anymore. Albany High is gone, right? But the Daugherty, Monroe, Westover. They all identify by a number. 1800, 1200, 900, 18, whatever. You got to let people off the hook and tell them what that means. Jim Blair says, we beat Valdosta. Yes, you did. Rolodex Williams is in the house. Rolodex, where you been, man? We are better. Valdosta just got to keep our play calling balanced and keep the penalties at minimum. Rolodex Williams, I'm going to tell you something. I agree with just about all of that. Rolodex, I have said, I thought last year, if we're being honest, I thought Valdosta had the team last year. I really thought you guys had a chance to go over and beat Carrollton. And the problem, and I know I'm preaching to the choir, the problem is you beat yourselves. And I think that's kind of been the problem. I think that was the problem in the Colquitt game, was it not? And look, I don't want to take anything away from like Colquitt County. They won the game. They beat Valdosta. I'm just saying that I have seen that sort of happen with Valdosta. And I think you're right. I think if they can put a game, if they can have a complete game, error-free, no offsides, no false starts, keep the penalties in check. Don't turn the ball over. Now, those are the things that get you beat. And I think, talent-wise, guys, I honestly think Valdosta is one of the best teams in the state. I think they're one of the best teams in the state, bar none. And I have said that from day one. Now, I thought Tift County gave them a run for the money Friday night. And it's good to see Tift County. Look, it's good for the region to have Tift County playing competitive football. Okay? It is. Paul Feinbaum. Thank you, Lisa. Paul Feinbaum. That's who that's who my man thinks I am. He calls me I'm the Phil Paul Feinbaum. Thank you for that. I'm going backwards here. Darius Kirksey, last year Roswell Milton went into halftime 2021. Milton went on to win 35-20. So that was Roswell Milton game. How about that? We were ITG. We were at Gainesville for the Gainesville Milton game last year. That was our ITG next game of the week. Adam Clack, who is now the Parkview head coach, he is the one that built the dynasty that is now Milton high school football. Him and my buddy Coach Sly. You had Coach Ben Reeves was on staff. He was all a part of that. But Adam Clack is the one that came into Milton and resurrected that football program, built it back up. Now, and then, of course, Adam Clack goes to the European football, professional football league. I don't think it was NFL Europe. But anyway, Adam Clack was thinking big, went over there, but he came back, and he's now the head coach at Parkview. But last year, Adam Clack joined me in the booth. It was myself and Adam Clack on the call. I was play-by-play. Adam Clack was my color commentator. And there we were in what is about the most dynamic press box in the state of Georgia at Gainesville, part of their whole new stadium setup. And beautiful, great new hospitality room, had all the food you can eat and drink. Anyway, Adam Clack and I did that game. That was Milton, Gainesville. And Milton pulled away. I tell you, Luke Nickel, quarterback, had that ability to do that. Now, Milton has missed him somewhat. They're still playing well, and you know what? They're doing it with 3 different quarterbacks. They've got the young man now, Halevi, I think is his last name. I may be mispronouncing that. But anyway, young quarterback. He's the latest of 3 quarterbacks that have been called on, and he's been doing a pretty good job. Had a big night. By the way, he tied Luke Nichols' record for most touchdowns thrown in a half. I think it was he threw 5 touchdowns in a half. Tied Luke Nichols' record. So, Ben Halevi, Halevi, I think is how it is. Anyway, so some great comments today, guys. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. We're going to be here until 7 o'clock with you guys. So, Luke Nelson, go Big Buford. I hear you, brother. Now everybody's getting me creating on Paul Feinbaum. I love it. Stephen K. Wynn, I asked who's going to hang TCC, Grayson, or Buford. Talking about the dream matchup we'd all like to see. Man, can you imagine Grayson and TCC getting together? Can you imagine TCC and Buford getting together? Big Buford, that's what you want to see, man. You know, I don't know if they still do this, but for years we had the Geico State Champion Series. How many of y'all remember that? Valdosta went and played in one. It was kind of like, and listen, every time I say this, people get all in an uproar. The Geico State Champion Series, and I don't think they do it anymore, but it was the closest thing we could get, and it's something I have been a proponent of. I would like to see something as close to a national high school playoff as possible. Now, again, don't start yelling at me. I understand that that's very unlikely to happen under the current restrictions. For example, the Texas High School Association, which is known as it's kind of I think it's the UID or something. Anyway, that's what their state association is known as. They do not allow any of their state champions to play any game beyond the championship game. So, Georgia used to be that way. And then Georgia relaxed that rule and allowed state champions to travel to showcase events like the Geico State Champion Series. Okay? So, I would like to see, and again, I know it's not going to be perfect, but with the Geico State Champion Series, whatever it's called, you'd have the state champion from, and about the only way you could do it is the largest classification in the state. So you would have, say, Buford. You'd have the state champion, and this is the way they used to do it. They'd have 4 state champions come together and play. And, I remember one year Collins Hill. That was the year, the Travis Hunter year. They went out and played a team. It was the Washington State champion, state champion. And they went out there, and Collins Hill had not lost a game all year. You know, a lot of these Georgia teams, guys, when Georgia starts going up against other states, state champions, Georgia has not fared all that well. So we got to make sure that before we say, hey, we think we got the greatest high school football in the country. Well, wait a minute. Now, I was talking earlier about the level of excitement I think is better amongst Georgia high school football teams than anywhere. I believe that. But now that doesn't necessarily equate to the best. But these Geico Bowl series, champion series, help to, at least for bragging rights, invite 4 teams. But in addition to the way the games have been played, where you play, 2 games, 4 teams, 2 games, well, take it a step further and let the 2 winners play each other for the mythical national champion. Again, that way you're getting as close to having a national playoff. And I know it's not perfect. I get it. I know it's not perfect. But that's what I would like to see. Or maybe even have 8 teams if you want to do it that way. But I'd really, and I've been a proponent of this, and of course my opinion don't mean a whole lot, but I would love to see and push for some type of national high school football playoff. It'd have to be a very condensed version, but would love to hear y'all's thoughts on that. Dwayne Little, Brooks County is in the house. What's up, Dwayne? Hey, we've been bragging about your Brooks County Trojans. I still have confidence in Brooks County. I really do. I really believe them. Darius Kirksey, respectfully, TCC didn't make it out of the 3rd round 5A last year. Y'all want to see them versus Grayson and Buford? Fair. Were you at TCC fans? Can you argue that? That was a quarterfinal loss. I thought it was semifinal. I guess not, because Coffee wound up playing Langston Hughes in the semifinal and won semifinal, right? Wow, how about that? So there's Darius Kirksey. He's putting it out there to you guys. Now, I will say, Darius, I think TCC this year is a little better than last year, although they were pretty good last year. I don't know. We'll see. But Darius Kirksey makes a fair point. Michael McNichol, can't wait to get a Warhawk Friday. So, Michael, what is that? Northside Warner Robins and Veterans going to go at it? Darius Kirksey, never mind. Hughes has 2 Power 5 running backs, both running 10.5 100 meters. Baker committed to Florida, and Wiggins just received offers from Auburn and Florida State. Yikes. How about that? Yeah, look, I really want to see Hughes and TCC. Darius Kirksey giving us a little bit of a history lesson here. Darius Kirksey wants to ask everybody and remind everybody, you guys all realize Hughes has been in the state finals and or the semis the last 3 to 4 years, and if Aaron Nolan hadn't gone down, it would have been 2 rings. We got to settle down on the Grayson talk. Y'all better worry about those same kids from South Fulton that sent TCC home last year. Yikes. Yee. Darius Kirksey, throwing it out there. What y'all got back for him? I love this. Darius Kirksey says, I'm just going to start spending my time in these podcasts, listing huge factoids. Look, it's hard to argue facts. Factoids, I love it. That's the quote of the day. Quote of the day goes to Darius Kirksey. I love it. Jim Blair, it's one of the best overall, just like the SEC beating up each other. Yep, agree. Talking about Georgia high school football. Ohio loves their high school football. Of course they do. Yeah, I'm right. Yeah. Gosh, Luke, man, I'm way behind. Luke just telling me I'm right here. I got you, buddy. Man, I'm way behind on these comments. Usually Darius calls me out on that. Albany State University is on top of the SIAC conference in football. Got Savannah State this week in the Fountain City Classic right after that. Did they play those at Hugh Mills Stadium? By the way, is it about a time for a stadium renovation at Hugh Mills, Andrew? I'm just asking, because it is a great stadium. I'd hate to see it torn down or anything. Anyway, Larry Thompson Jr. checking in. Larry says, Region 7 5A playoff scenario, if Roswell wins, and that's Friday night versus Milton, we get the number 1 seed. Gainesville is number 2. Milton is number 3. If Milton wins, Gainesville is number 1. Milton is number 2. Roswell is number 3. Roswell can only be a number 1 or a number 3. Gainesville can only be a number 1 or number 2. And Milton can only be a number 2 or a number 3. Now, brother, that's breaking it down. Excellent job, Larry Thompson. Love it. Luke Nelson says, Buford, Grayson, and Carrollton. You know, man, I keep forgetting about Carrollton. Hey, look. I mean, I'm forgetting about a lot of people, to be honest with you. I mean, why are we discounting McEachern? Can somebody explain that to me? Do you guys understand how much Division I talent is on that McEachern roster? And do you guys realize they've been doing this without a lot of their top guys? I mean, several of these big D1 guys have been hurt. They just got back Nayland. Is it Nayland Scott? The wide receiver, Nebraska commit, I believe it is. I mean, McEachern is just tearing up everybody. Look, they put the rest of that Hillgrove thing a couple of weeks ago. So, again, we can't forget about McEachern. Can't forget about Carrollton. Carrollton's doing this thing like they always do. Here they come creeping up. They're undefeated. By the way, Carrollton using a 2-quarterback system. Did you guys know that? That's a little unusual. I think a lot of people thought that once Juju left that Carrollton would really suffer, but they had a transfer come in. I think he was from South Carolina. And then you've got another young man. I don't know where he came from. I don't know if he was an insider, meaning he came up in the Carrollton system. I don't know that. Just taking a guess. Phil, I think he's saying the lower of the Hughes and Lovejoy region game this Friday, which will most likely be Lovejoy as the 2 seed. Okay, I got you. Larry Godwin's in the house. Larry, I'm sorry, man. I forgot about that link. I just got busy, buddy. But anyway, Larry Godwin, 3-way tie goes to points allowed to playoff eligible teams in the region. Yes, that's what I had said earlier. Exactly. Once that is applied to determine number 1, then it goes to head-to-head to determine 2 and 3 seeds. Got you, buddy. Yeah. And again, that's what I had explained. Somebody told me that last night, and then I had a story. By the way, check out the story I've got on all the battles coming up this Friday night, plus a recap of what happened this past weekend. Pretty good story, if I must say so myself. It's at the ITG Next website. It'll be on our Facebook page as well. So you guys go check it out. Matt DeBuck has found his way in here. Listen, stop the presses. Let's all stop and pay homage to the head coach of the Cardinal Gibbons Chiefs. Coach Matt DeBuck is in the house. I knew I was feeling better for some reason. Not that I felt bad before. What's up, Coach? Always great to see you in the house, my man. He's a good friend of mine, and he's a heck of a football coach. And his one of his sons plays for the New Mexico Lobos. Kind of reminds me of Los Lobos. What does that mean? The Wolves? Anyway, good to see you, Coach. Greg Maddox, according to Chris Beckman, yeah, okay, we got that one earlier. If Valdosta beats Lowndes, then Valdosta will win the region because they've only given up 18 points. But don't the points that they score in the game Friday night have to factor into that as well? Darius Kirksey, I like TCC, but y'all keep mentioning Hughes as an afterthought is nuts. No, not me. I'm not mentioning him as an afterthought at all. Not a bit. Not in fact, Darius, I'll be honest with you. Hughes is the number one team to me. They're the number one team to get through, in my opinion, as far as when it comes to TCC. Just saying. Stephen K. Wynn, TCC breaking in the new indoor facility? I don't think yet. Boy, that thing is going to be extravaganza. Let me tell you. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Jose Badilla. So I put this out there earlier, did a little bit of a tease. I talked with Coach Rogers this morning. Actually, earlier this afternoon. I keep saying this morning. It was right after lunch. I mentioned that I talked with Coach about a little thing we got brewing with TCC, and Jose says, I think I know what you're talking about from Coach Rogers, Mr. Phil. I got a glimpse of it. I don't know. I don't think it's what you're thinking of, but it's going to be good. I promise you, it's going to be good. Gerald Gibbons. I hate the new power rankings for next year. Really? And why is that? I like it. Darius Kirksey says they would get dragged, and I'm not putting Hughes out there against Grayson either, except track and field. Rusty Cravy's in the house. What's up, buddy? Phil Jones says Tipp County gave them all they wanted, talking about the game against Valdosta. It sounded like they did. Rusty Cravey is in the house. Good friend of mine. Obadiah Farley, he always asks me this, and by the way, I'm probably going to stay a little over. We'll take it a little bit longer. We'll go into overtime tonight. As long as you guys want to stay with me, I'll hang in here and we'll talk. Rusty Cravey says, hang on just Obadiah, I'm coming back to you. Phil Jones, they gave them HELL Friday. I thought they would pull it out. Yeah, Rusty, so were you at the game? And Rusty, I want to know about the crowd, because that's been a big part of this Tift County resurgence. So, Rusty, tell me about how the crowd was at Tift County, my man. And I think Valdosta probably had a lot of people there, too, didn't they? But Obadiah Farley. Phil, what was your shocker of the week? Obadiah. It's got to be Cairo's win over Peach County. Hands down. I mean, Peach County has been looking strong this year. Not to say that Cairo hasn't. But that was my shocker of the week. Well, wait a minute. Let me back up. Obadiah. I'm going to have to say no. It was Warner Robins defeating Ware. Shocker of the week. But deserved nonetheless. And again, as I mentioned earlier, Shane Sams, he gets my game ball for the week. Congratulations, Coach Sams. That was a big win. Warner Robins over Ware. So that's it, Obadiah. Very, very good win. Great win for Warner Robins. Jody Hewitt says Region 1 is going to play out like this. Oh, okay, well, scenario number 1, Lowndes wins and Colquitt wins. Lowndes, that would put the region ending as Lowndes number 1, Colquitt 2, Valdosta 3, and Richmond Hill 4. And so I think, I think you're right. Well, I know you're right. What am I saying? You're right. 100%. Brooks Carter, Early County won the region for the 4th straight year over Mitchell. 50-30. A little bit of a shootout there, wasn't it? Early County Bobcats. Southwest Georgia Academy won their district over Southland. Early will host Greene County in the first round next week. South Georgia Academy will have a first round bye. They get the winner of Gatewood and Arizona. That was a mouthful. All right. Jody Hewitt with another scenario. Jody Hewitt says Region 1 Scenario 2. This is Region 1 6A. Valdosta win and Colquitt wins. Valdosta wins the region. Lowndes second. Colquitt County third and Richmond Hill fourth. Another scenario from Jody Hewitt. Valdosta and Colquitt wins. Valdosta number 1. Lowndes is number 2. Richmond Hill 3 and Colquitt 4. Wow. How about that? Now, nobody's taking that into consideration, have we? Everybody's kind of counting on Richmond Hill going to finish 4th. But look at Jody putting it out here, guys. In this Region 1 scenario number 3. Look at this. Pay attention. In his Region 1 6A, scenario number 3, Jody Hewitt says, Valdosta wins and Colquitt wins, which are very possible. It's going to be Valdosta number 1, Lowndes number 2, Richmond Hill number 3, and the Colquitt County Packers 4. How about that? Can you believe that? And then scenario number 4, he gives us 4 scenarios. Jody Hewitt, you did your homework on this one, buddy. Lowndes and Richmond Hill win. Not likely, but it could happen. It would take Lowndes beating Valdosta, Richmond Hill upsetting Colquitt County. Lowndes would be the top seed. Colquitt would be number 2. Valdosta 3. Richmond Hill 4. I gotta be honest with you. That's why I've been doing these bracket predictions, and I just finally backed off. Because I thought, what the heck, man? It's there's so many different scenarios. I'm tired of writing, scratching through 10. So let's just let it play out. But there has been a lot of projection and a lot of what ifs. So we will wait and see. Friday night, Halloween night. Trick or treat, it's going to be nothing but treats, guys. It's going to be huge. Bunch of treats for sure. Stephen K. Wynn says the Texas high school season is so long. Really, I did not know that. And what prompted Stephen to talk about that was I mentioned earlier that Texas, their association, and Matt DeBuck is still in the house. Maybe he can enlighten me on this. So Texas is the ISD. That's what it is. I think it's Independent School District is what it's called, but it's or is it USD, University School District? Anyway, it's one of those two. That's the equivalent of Texas GHSA. Okay, they okay. Somebody gave me a little bit of insight into that Cairo win. Said that Peach County's best player had a major break in his leg, it looks like, and was out. That would have been Zion Hudson. I did not know about that. That obviously made a big difference, for sure. All right. So, Stephen K. Wynn, what prompted Stephen to say that? I was talking earlier, Texas and their high school association will not let their state champions play one game past the state championship game. You know how the Georgia state champions get to go play, or they used to. They would go play in these bowl, like Geico State Champion Bowl games. Or, I remember when Valdosta went out and played after they won the state championship with what was his name? Alan Rodemaker. It was Valdosta. Who else went out there? The 3 other state champions. Well, actually, it was St. Thomas Aquinas went from Florida. But they all went out to the Star in Texas and played. And it was pretty fun. But there were no Texas teams in it. Valdosta played Candler, Arizona. Just saying. All right, let's get these other comments in here. Gerald does Chris Pace. Darius Kirksey, why are you giving TCC bulletin board material? I wouldn't have said nothing. Now they know. Uh-oh. He's in trouble. Darius Kirksey coming back. Laughing face. I'm just saying, bro, how are y'all skipping to Grayson and Buford? What are we, coleslaw? Man, I ain't never heard anybody regarded as coleslaw. My gosh. That's a new low. I love it. Andrew Watkins, high school basketball tipping off soon. Yeah. You know what? Listen, guys, I know we're talking football here, but high school basketball in Georgia is pretty darn good. I was just talking about Wheeler's head coach. I got I got a text from him earlier, Larry Thompson. Guy is an icon. An icon. And think about all these great high school basketball coaches we've got. Alan Whitehead. No, not Whitehead. Whitehart. Alan Whitehart coaches at Milton. He's the Milton boys coach. He's a USA basketball coach. I mean, doesn't get much bigger than that. Larry Thompson, Wheeler, they go to Hawaii every year. It's like college teams going to these tournaments. I mean, big time tournament. So Georgia, Grayson's boys and girls. I mean, it just goes on and on. So Georgia is basketball rich, let me tell you. And ITG Next, we're going to be in the middle of it this year. We're going to be hopefully doing some coaches shows with some of these basketball coaches as well. Gerald Gibbons wants to know, I think you could do a national playoff similar to how they do 1AA football and high school playoff by regions. Now, what do you mean by that? Jim Blair, Carrollton can't, McEachern ain't. Stephen K. Wynn, McEachern is young, ahead of projection. Yes, they are. A lot of freshmen. And again, McEachern has won without a lot of their key players, guys. They've been injured this year. Again, y'all can get caught up on all this on the 6 coaches shows that I host. I do 6 coaches shows. I do 4 on Monday, 2 on Tuesday, Colquitt County, Tift, McEachern, Houston County, Roswell, and Worth. 6 coaches shows. Do them every week. And these coaches give a lot of great insight, guys. And we're the only place, ITG Next, that gives you this kind of football coverage and insight. Nobody else does. Not hearing it straight from the coach's mouth. So a little tip of the hat to ITG. James Raymer. Yeah, I know what you're saying, buddy. And that's why I've tried to preface my comments every time when I say this, because this is the kind of stuff I get back. The Geico Series was not really an apple-to-apple state champion comparison. The Arizona team that beat Valdosta was an open enrollment school. I get it. And Valdosta really wasn't even supposed to be in that series. Did you know that? Valdosta. Here's another thing you may not have known, going back to that Geico Series, James. Valdosta was not even supposed to be in there. Not that they didn't deserve. But remember, Valdosta was not in the highest classification. Okay, I think that's when we had 7A and Valdosta was 6A then. What happened was Grayson was, I believe, or no, it was Collins Hill or Grayson, one of the two. Anyway, the highest classification state champion that year from Georgia. Okay, they were limited because Geico was paying the bills for all the travel. And Geico went to whoever the state champion was. I can't, was it Grayson or Collins Hill? One of the two. Whomever it was. The Geico people said, hey, you're only able to bring 50 people. And whoever the state champion said, no, we're not going to do that, the coach said. Either everybody comes or we don't come. So Geico said, okay, well, we'll see you later. Yeah, I guess they called their bluff, did the Georgia High School, and the Geico folks did not blink. It was actually not the Geico folks. It was actually Paragon Marketing Group. They're the outfit organization that put this on. And Geico just happened to be the money, the sponsor. But I'm just going to say Grayson, so I won't have to keep going back and forth. I think it was Grayson. Grayson said, no, if we can't bring our whole roster, we're not going. So they defaulted to the next largest classification state champion, which happened to be Valdosta. So Valdosta said, yeah, and I don't know what the roster count was, but Valdosta agreed. Said, okay, we don't have that big of a roster like they do, so we'll bring our top 50 players. And again, you got to understand, the Paragon Marketing Group, and here they are. They're having to fund the travel for, hotel, airline tickets for all these everybody, trainers, coaches, players. So that's why they said, hey, we got to cut it to 50. So Valdosta agreed to do that. So James, here's yet another thing why that was not an apples to apples comparison. So you had Valdosta, okay, 5A state champion, playing Candler, the Arizona 7A state champion. So it was supposed to be 7A versus 7A school. Instead, it turned out to be a 7A versus 6A school. Okay, and in that game, you guys may remember, Candler won it pretty handedly over Valdosta. So, again, and that's why I say It's not really and truly an apples to apples, and I never have intended it to be. But it's the closest thing we're going to get to crowning a something other than a mythical state or national champion. You see where I'm going with that? It's not perfect. You're right, and it's not ideal, but it's all we got in trying to crown some type of national champion. Excuse me. Calvin Pittman, what's going on, Calvin? Your son's been playing very well, by the way. Calvin Pittman Sr., who was player of the month, our athlete of the month, if that's what you're asking, went to Cohen Lawson, the Colquitt County quarterback. Got to get those folks voting, man. All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up in about 3 minutes. We're going to call it at 7:15. That will give us almost the full 2 hours. Jim Blair says Carrollton going to win their region. Yeah, no doubt about that. Reginald D. Harris is in the house. Reginald says thoughts on Douglas County and Carrollton Friday. Wow, boy, that is going to be big, isn't it? I got to go with Carrollton. Going to go with Carrollton in that one. In fact, I think that might have been one of my pick six games. Yeah, I've got Carrollton picked to win 35-31. By the way, I'll give you guys my pick six. I'll give you the sneak peek at my pick six. I'm going with Lowndes. Well, wait a minute. I need to change that. I'm picking Lowndes to beat Valdosta. I'm picking Tift County to beat Camden County, by the way. Colquitt County to beat Richmond Hill 40-28. And I'm picking Thomas County Central to beat Coffee. And I don't have the score on this one. That's just a sheet that I drew up some notes on. But anyway, those are my pick six games for this week. Chris Pace, how does Valdosta win the region if Colquitt beat them besides record? So somebody explained this earlier, Chris. It was Jody Hewitt. Go back up to his... what he said was, if Valdosta wins and Colquitt wins, Valdosta wins the region. Excuse me, guys. Again, talking for almost 2 hours straight has just been a strain on my vocal cords. Jerry White Bradley, TCC held their first practice today in the new. Oh, no kidding! I didn't know that. Wow, really? That's something else we got to take a look at. That was not what I was talking to Coach Rogers about this morning, but that's something we got to take a look at for sure. How about that? Thank you for that, Jerry White Bradley. Stephen K. Wynn, Texas University Interscholastic League. That's it. Yeah. The UIL, correct. Chris Pace, that's a great question. And again, Chris, as I've said before, man, I don't pretend to get to be the expert on these tiebreakers. I just don't. I don't. It just, I'm busy writing stories, creating content. I just don't get too. I let other people handle the tiebreaker scenarios, to be honest with you. James Raymer, let's see. Grayson Colquitt was supposed to play St. Francis. Yeah, so that was the year, I guess, I remember St. Francis coming down and playing Lee County. You guys remember that? Lisa Hamilton, Phil, you do such a great job with your ITG shows and interviews very much. I don't know how you keep up with all this. Very impressive. Lisa, thank you for that. That is so kind for you to say. Thank you for that very much. I really do appreciate that. Means a lot. It does mean a lot. Calvin Pittman, thanks so much for checking out the show today. Thanks and congrats to that young man. Absolutely. Jody Hewitt, no need to expand on those tiebreakers. The Vikings. Jody says, let's just keep it simple. The Vikings will be region champs coming Friday at midnight. Calvin McGirt. Calvin, by the way, I missed your calls today. I apologize for that, Calvin. I've just been super, super busy, man. When I'm on deadline, I got to get pounding these stories out, Calvin. So I wasn't avoiding you, brother. I just missed your calls. Calvin, what score are you picking Lowndes and Valdosta? I'm going to go with Lowndes 35-31. I think Lowndes wins it, but again, could be anybody's guess. Leslie Fennell, Valdosta Wildcats for the win Friday night. Excited for a memorable night. It's Go Wildcats. Leslie, I really appreciate all of your input this year, and please keep me updated on Marquise. I think Marquise and Deron Foster are the best 1-2 running back punch anywhere, not just region 1-6A. By the way, the wild card out of all this could be Colquitt County getting Jay Lamar back. Watch that. Although they did pretty good without him too. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. I can't talk anymore. My voice is shot. Thank you guys for the kind comments. Thank you guys for being civil, most of you, almost all of you. And I'll be back with you guys Friday night. Man, are we going to have a lot to talk about Friday night on our Friday Night Scoreboard show. Be sure to join me then. And again, big thanks to Dr. Kevin Collins, the Houston Clinic. You guys need an orthopedic doc. Doesn't have to be for torn up knees. It can be anything. Elbows hurting, whatever, shoulder. KevinCollinsMD.com. The guy has got a great bedside manner, and he's a fantastic physician. I highly advise you use him. And oh, by the way, there's a reason he's the team doctor for VSU and Colquitt County. He's a good friend of mine. He's also the sponsor of our Monday night show, and he's a great doctor. You got to be with if you're with the Houston Clinic. So big thanks to Dr. Kevin Collins for sponsoring this show. We'll see you guys Friday night. Be sure to check out all of our content, by the way, at ITG Next Georgia. You guys will love it. See you Friday night, guys. Have a great week.